weren't able to come, so I forgot to do that before. So what I'd love you to do is to grab your piece of paper and write down, what do you think that freedom is for you? Because we're talking about the 5 steps to freedom, but just start to jot down, what do you think that is? Maybe also write down, how would you know if you did have more freedom? And so for those who've just joined us, hello, hi Mel. We're just writing down, what do you think freedom is? And how would you know if you had more of it? And then if you, and then just share in the chat your, maybe pick one of your answers, having looked over them, that you think you would like to share. What do you think freedom is? And how would you know if you have more of it? Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. There's some lovely liberation, calm, leave what is no longer serving you. Yep, that's great. Connection to spirit, being, less worrying mind, working with spirit, not bound by fear. Beautiful. Yeah. Knowing, and working with spirit, doing what you love, trusting, freedom from attachment, having choices. Yep. Great. And I think all of you have given beautiful answers there. That sounds like you all have a good idea about, what freedom is to you. And so I guess that brings us to talk about, oops, sorry, that just did it by itself. It's not, yes, you. Oh, there we go. We're going to talk about 5 steps to freedom, but we want to start at the first one. So they were the 5 steps. I'll just go back. So you might want to write these down, these 5 steps, and we'll be going more into them and talking more about them. So if I could go back, I would go back. Oops. There. So we're going to go through them one by one, though. So the first one is fearless fun. And so I guess for me, freedom is about having that fearless capacity to make those choices. I think Olga said, having choices. Ellie said being free from attachment. And so when I think about having fearless fun, it's the ability and capacity to not be stuck or ruled by fear. Would you agree, if you drop a Y in the chat, that if you have a lot of fear, you're probably not going to feel like you've got a lot of freedom, and you may be making choices that would stop you doing the things that you really want to do. So there's a fearlessness. At the same time, the reason I put fun there, and I have that as part of the first step, is that the fun brings in a lightness. And so I'm guessing you probably know a lot of people who seem to have fun quite easily. Drop a Y if you, or a yes if you know people who just seem to be good at having fun. And they find the fun in often in everyday activities. And would you agree with me also, you probably know people who don't seem to have much fun? And let's face it, all of us, like definitely me, I can definitely be good at having fun, and I can definitely be good at being super serious and forgetting to have fun at all. So the reason that I see fun as important to the idea of freedom is that it's part of what lifts our spirit and opens our heart. And it's pretty hard to have a closed down heart and also be fearless. They're kind of opposite, because as you know, the heart is about courage and openness and, bliss and joy. And so the first step is to be fearless in our fun. And I think that, how do we get to a new place? If freedom is about exploring new things, if it's about opening to new ideas, if it's about letting go of things that don't serve us, if we never do anything that's a little bit challenging on our boundaries, then how are you ever going to get into more freedom if you always are doing the same thing over and over? Does that make sense? I say yes or no if it doesn't. I have to put my glasses on so I can see. Yes, that does make sense. Yes. So there's that fearlessness and the fun. It's about the lightness and the capacity to be able to do new things. So that, of course, also means that if you happen to feel like that there is fear in your day-to-day life, and that you do get stuck and you don't do new things because you're feeling that fear, then you're probably also not feeling a massive amount of freedom in some areas of life. So would that be fair enough to say that there might be, for most of us, I think there's some areas of life where we probably don't have any fear at all. And then there's other areas where, you just go, ooh. So if anyone would like to share something where they feel that they do have fear that's probably holding them back, if you're happy to put that in the chat, it's optional. But if you'd like to share, and I know for me, I get scared of things that I don't think I'm very good at, because I was a lawyer for a long time and I was just got quite good at a whole lot of things. So if there's some things I'm okay not to be good at, but anything professional, if I think I can't do it or I can't figure it out, I get quite frustrated. And that was one of the reasons why technology used to be pretty fearful. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think we often just have those areas where we feel like fear holds us back. So would you agree with me that being fearless is definitely going to, Fear about thinking on the spot. Yeah. Yeah. Physical ability. Yep. Great. And like I say, for me, it's about, I mean, there's lots of things I'm not fearful of, and there's lots of things I'm fearful of. Um, so, and I think it's all very individual for all of us. And where do you think those fears come from? Like if the fears that you do have, where do you think they come from? Yep, thoughts in the past. Yeah, great. Beautiful. So they might come from something we've been told. Yep, family of origin, not feeling good enough. Yep. And welcome to those who've just joined. We're talking about the 5 steps to freedom, and the first one being fearless fun. Yep, biological drives and conditioning. Yep, great, Jacob. Fixed beliefs. And so would you agree with me that if we wanted to have more freedom, and if one of the steps is to fearlessly have fun, that we might need to start to remove some things? We might need to remove some of the family dynamics or the beliefs or the biological drives, some of those things that are in the way. Would that make sense to you? Yeah. Yes, that's right. So that will be a theme in, I guess, what we'll be talking about tonight is that, if we go back to the video that I showed with the baby and the healing ability, that innate ability that is already there, then what happens? It gets changed, it gets covered up, all those innate abilities can be covered. So I think one of the themes that we'll find through here is that we'll get closer to the freedom and we'll get closer to the superpowers as we start to uncover and let go of that which is in the way. So, yeah, okay. So that is step 1. Step 2. Step 2. Oops, that's not step 2. Oh, that's having fearless fun. Sorry, it is. That's part of step 1. I just thought that was rather delightful. Don't you think that's just a great kind of image of just having fun and being in the moment? Yeah, it's so cute. I just had to put that in before I go to step 2. So resourceful. I think that to be free and to have more freedom, we need to be really resourceful. And again, that resourcefulness comes from perhaps what we've learned, but also I think for me, and I can tell from, how you've been chatting and what you've been sharing already, that you're all very tuned into the bigger picture of life. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have come here into this class with me. But for me, resourceful is, of course, it's the practical things of life. And so if I'm needing to change a tire or whatever, I'm going to need those practical things. If I'm wanting to have more freedom, though, I'm going to need all sorts of resources to help me along that path. Because if, as we've already uncovered, part of the pathway to freedom, the step-by-step process to having more freedom, is to remove the things that are in the way, like the limiting beliefs and the fears and the conditioning and all those sorts of things that were, the family dynamics, the biological drives, not feeling good enough. If we're going to remove all of that, we need to have some resources to remove, for you to remove those things that might be in your way. Do you agree with that? That makes sense, that you would need to remove some things? Yeah. And I guess on my path, and I'm sure for many of you, I know that all of you probably have done, spiritual work and self-development. Have you found that you have needed resources in the past, and that you probably still need resources in order to help yourself let go of those things which are in the way? And I think part of being resourceful for me also is kind of like an acknowledgement that there are resources available, and that they not only come from our physical world, from, the practical things that we can get our hands on, but you can get resources from your inner wisdom as well. You can get your resources internally and you can get your resources externally. So does that make sense, that you can have inner resources and you can have outer practical resources? Yeah. Yeah. And whoever feels like they have found inner resources at times. I mean, there's stories of people who, lift up cars, right? When there's a baby stuck, or, there's those stories of people who suddenly have superpowers and super strength at that moment when it's needed. Yeah. And so there are those inner resources that sometimes in the busyness of life, you might forget to tap into your own inner resources. And as well as that, there are external resources. So it's great to have someone who's on our side when, someone who's on your side when you're walking through that pathway. You've decided you want more freedom, more purpose, and having someone with you is a resource as well. If you can think of anything, you can share what sort of inner resource you might have found that you came up with. I mean, I know that for me, I've found resources at times of great, resources of strength at times where lots of things were difficult in my life. So I'm sure all of you have probably had times where you've found resources. So if you can think of a resource that you found internally, or externally. Yeah, you might have an external resource. Yep, resilience, great. Yep, connection, it's an important one, isn't it? A kind of connection to spirit often brings many resources. Inner strength, yes, Deb. Yeah, that's great. Yes, joy, that's great, isn't it, Helena? When you can hang on to joy, meditation, yep. And yeah, trust and faith, that's beautiful. Yep, talking to your higher self. Yes, I do that a lot as well. And we'll get more into that as we go in. Yeah, the real essence beyond the mind. Beautiful. Yes, peace from meditation. And what about external resources? Who's ever had some help from outside of themselves? They're awesome inner resources. Who's ever had an outside help? If you can think of something or someone, maybe if we stick to the theme of personal growth, or getting through difficulties, or finding more freedom in your purpose. Yep, friends and family. Oh, Chamundai, thank you. Thanks, Shrima. I'm glad I was a resource. Yes, Jody says from me too. Energy healing, yes, that's a great one. Wise friends and family, beautiful. Yes. Yep, a coach. Yep, that's right. So having those resources, good. Yeah, sun and nature is a beautiful resource. Yep, healer. Yes, someone outside the problem, Deb, that's right, who has a clearer perspective. Beautiful. Anik, definitely you. Oh, thank you, Anik. Yes, spiritual family. Beautiful. So I think, would you agree with me then that if we do have those inner resources, we can find our way inside, and we can also use those external resources to have those steps that, yeah, conscious movement. Beautiful, Rebecca. Yep, that's something that you're, I know, very involved in. That's great. Do you agree with me then that if you are able to find those inner resources and the outer resources, you're likely to feel as though an experience that you are starting to have more freedom? Is that starting to make sense? Yes, very good. Excellent. Good. So let's see what next. So we've got our fun, our fearless fun. We've got our resources, inner and outer. The third step, and this is, if you're writing this down, you'll see that it starts to spell freed, because I thought I'll just have a little word play. So F-R-E-E-D. So the E is energetic. And so for me, I suppose it's been a great kind of journey in my life, as I was sharing some of my story a little bit earlier. And I mentioned that I'd been very passionate about spirituality and energy for a long time, that it was a great revelation to me and a great liberation to me when I could start to know my own energetic makeup, and it still is right now today. So I work, part of my coaching and healing practice, or a big focus of it, is for separating couples and people going through family law system, and those kind of professionals wanting, you know, the spiritual liberation and finding their purpose. And still today, I find that if I feel as though I'm stressed or I'm fearful or something's off track, if I take a moment to tune into my own energetic being, and because I've been lucky enough, as I said, to study with some amazing spiritual masters in India and Australia, and gathered some extraordinarily, what's the word when it works really well? You know, when something works well, the name's got out of my head. Tools that work well. I can't think of the other word. So I've been really lucky to have some tools that work really well. And so what I find is, when I have the time and the space to tune into my energetic nature beyond my physical form, and I shift my energy, then that makes a really big difference to my external world, to my thoughts, my beliefs, and all those things that we said we needed to uncover. And so in order to be free, to be liberated, to be, you know, moving to a place where I feel like I don't have all those conditionings and blocks and not feeling stuck, then getting to know my energetic nature, with definitely with help from external resources and teachers, has been a really big thing. And I'm guessing for quite a few of you here, you might also have learned about your energetic nature. And as we said before, sometimes when something's going on, we can figure it out ourselves if we have the tools and the skills. At other times, it's great to have that external person. And so energetic, I guess, is physical energy as well, because it doesn't feel very free if I'm, you know, if I feel like my food intake is not healthy for my body and I'm waking up tired and I'm just not feeling great, if I haven't been drinking enough water and I'm feeling all, you know. So looking after my physical body is part of energetics. Looking after my spiritual connection is part of energetics. It's, you know, because energy comes from that external source. And as we'll experience in a little bit later, when we do a little bit more activities that you'll do, is that you can actually connect to more energy instantly through expanding your energy field. And that's why being aware of your energetic nature and working on it is an essential step to freedom, and having that support. I'm guessing quite a lot of you have that experience already. Yeah, flow. So do you think that knowing about your energy, like your physical energy, looking after that, your emotional energy as well, who thinks that emotions have an impact on how we feel and how much energy we have? Yeah, that's right. So yeah, huge impact, Deb. Yep, that's right. And so, yeah, 100%. And so having that emotional clarity and letting go of those emotions that might be in the way is part of that step around being more energetic. What else about energy? Oh, I was starting to ask you a question, which was, who feels like they have had an experience where your energy has changed and you have felt more free, more relaxed, more open? Um, yeah, yeah, I think most of us have. And you know, there's many, yeah, so many times. That's right. Who also finds, though, that sometimes they kind of just forget to check in on their energy, or they don't know what to do? Who's ever had an experience that your energy feels a bit all over the place, but you're not quite sure what to do? Yes. Yeah. And that's where, yeah, I think having that, you know, having that support and that step-by-step process through, and having those guides to help you is exactly Yeah, and we can forget. That's right. Sometimes we just forget. Yes, when we're in a higher vibration, Jacob, that's exactly right. And that's exactly where we'll be, yeah, feel bad for a while, then remember that you can do something about it. That's right, Annie. And sometimes I'm sure for all of us, yeah, knowing what to do and when. And so that's where, you know, those resources, especially an external, you know, coach and a guide on this step-by-step process can really help you to know what you need to do when. And I must say that, you know, working with my clients in my coaching and healing practice, that's one of the most common things that we work on is it's like, oh, something's out of place, and you know, my clients are not sure what to do. And so that's where, you know, I can be tuned into their energy, and we'll have a little bit of a demonstration of that in a minute. Yeah, good time to practice and celebrate catching it. That's right. So the third step is the energetic. And let us go to the next one. The fourth step to freedom is being empathic. So we thought we needed a little bit of lightness here. What is empathy? It's very complicated. I thought we needed to have a little bit of fun here. So I guess it ties into the emotions that we were starting to talk about, because for me, if we want to be really liberated, it comes back to what Jacob said about life becomes a lot easier when we're in a higher vibration. And we'll look at that a little bit more in a moment. You want to be able to raise your vibration, and you raise your vibration to a higher level when you have the ability to be empathic, not only to other people, but to yourself. So for me, a lot of this empathic kind of step, the step of empathy, is I want to be empathic to myself. I need to tune in and know how I'm feeling. And I also need to be sensitive enough to know what other people are feeling, because that empathic capacity is actually part of your heart's wisdom. And your heart is a very intricate, it's intricately connected to your vibration and your ability to feel like you are free. So if the heart is open and warm and connecting, you will be empathic. Does that make sense to people? Do you feel like that's true, that when you feel tuned into others, you actually feel more compassionate, you feel more, what's the other word? Grateful, you know, that's, yeah. So that being empathic is actually, I mean, sometimes we think about being empathic as in, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed by other people's emotions, but it's not about that. It's about, I can sense what's going on around me because I'm tuned in, and because I have the resources and the tools, I can be in my empathy, but not be swept away or carried away by it. And so again, that is something I find with the professionals that come to see me, is that, especially in the family law field, they are in that place because they really want to help people and they really feel the emotions of other people. However, they haven't always learned the resources to be able to clear those emotions and to protect themselves energetically and feel resourceful and clear, because I think all those things are important as well. So is that making sense, that you would need to be empathic? You would need to have an open heart and empathic to yourself. Who feels like, if, give me a yes or a, if you feel like when you're empathic to yourself, you feel much more relaxed, peaceful, and you feel tuned into the things that people wrote earlier about, you know, why, what is freedom? Like earlier, we talked about what is freedom, and some of the beautiful answers that you all shared was that it's about feeling like you're letting go, like you're more open. And so if you're more empathic with yourself, you're going to be more relaxed and peaceful on the inside. Otherwise, we've got parts of I'm fighting with myself sort of going on. Does that make sense? Yeah, beautiful. And so now we are going to go to Step 5, which is the D of freed, F-R-E-E-D. So for me, I think when we think about freedom, and again, reflecting on all the beautiful answers that you all gave earlier, that freedom is that peace within. It's, we said freedom was about letting go of, the things that were holding you back. And if we don't have determination, how will we ever get beyond where you actually are now? So does it make sense that if you want to do something a little bit different, if you want to find more passion, more purpose, you want to find more freedom, and I think all of that goes together in my mind, that you need to be determined to find the resource that you need if something's not working, that you need to be determined to perhaps keep going until you get to where you feel like you want to be. Is that making sense? I guess determination doesn't need a lot of explanation, really, does it? It's kind of, I think the picture says it all. I guess what I was really doing was linking it to freedom, but also to, motivation. That's right, Jacob. It's keeping that. And I think as we think about these 5 steps, they sort of circle around, because even something like having fearless fun can require determination. It might be that I need to clear my schedule to make an afternoon where I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to be doing things that are just joyful to me. And so the determination to keep going, to find what I need, looking for the right tools so it's possible to keep going. That's right. It's the not giving up, and doing that definitely takes us down that pathway to feeling more freedom. I guess the other thing I wanted to share about freedom and the linking it back then to the idea of a superpower and our energy, is that something that Jacob mentioned earlier about having a higher vibration. And I'm not sure whether you might know about, or we've said a superpower is an exceptional ability. Yep. And what is freedom? We talked a little bit about that, and we'll come back to that in a minute. Get me out of here. That's when you don't have the freedom, right? So the thing about vibration, who's heard about David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force? I feel some of you may already know about this book. Yeah. Yeah. So I think you probably are, from what we've been sharing already, and some of you may not know. So this is a book by David Hawkins, and the book's called Power versus Force. And David Hawkins did a lot of exploration, testing, and research on emotions and the effect of our emotions and how they then play out in our life. So you can see by that scale that what David Hawkins actually did is he rated different emotions to a vibration. So think about a vibration like a musical note, and you're playing a piano and you're going up the octaves. And so it's kind of common sense in a way. If I'm feeling ashamed or guilty, I'm not going to be feeling very happy. Who would agree with that? Like when you're in that space, you just don't feel that great. And so we would call that, what he started to call that, was a lower vibration, in the sense of, think about energy as moving more slowly and in a bit more of a sluggish way. And then as we get up above neutrality, you'll see that courage, and even you'll see that anger, is a higher vibration. That's right. Anger is a higher vibration than apathy. It's higher than shame. And we start to then move up into acceptance and reason. and love and peace. And so remember when I asked you all earlier what was freedom to you, there was some answers around it's like an inner peace. So in my mind, and I think you can tell me if you agree, in my mind, freedom is being in the best possible vibration that I can be in, because then I have access to all my inner resources. And the way that I guess I see that played out in some of my work is that clients who are under stress, and you might have had this experience yourself, you're stressed out about something and trying to make a decision is really difficult. Even if we bring it back to something as simple as you're just about to go out to a really important appointment and you can't find the car keys. Who's ever had that? Or you can't find your phone or some other like really important thing. And then you start to feel yourself getting stressed about it. And who agrees that you can't think properly? You can't remember where you left your keys, right? But if you are able to calm down, then all of a sudden the mind opens, and that's kind of a physiological and an energetic thing. When we're in fear, our reptilian brain is active, and I don't have, you don't have the resources and the access to the other resources. Does that make sense? Yeah, stress makes you dumb. That's right. Oh, we don't want stress. We don't want stress. All right, good. So what we're going to do now is, I've been talking quite a bit. I thought we might just have a little quick break if you need to grab a drink of water or to stand up and move around for a moment. And what I'm going to do, we happily have, the perfect number of people. I'm going to let you have a quick chat when you come back about what you're thinking right now about. No, sorry. I've got myself mixed up. That's not what we're going to do in the breakout room. Sorry. Just forget about all that. Just have a 2-minute break while I just sort my own head. What we were going to do was do something different in the breakout room, but it requires you to do something else first. Sorry. So let's just have a quick minute. I'll have a cup of water and de-stress myself and then come back. That's funny. Very good. Great. I think most people are probably back. So the next thought really is, we've talked about the freedom part, and we had a little think about superpowers at the beginning when we had that video of the baby with, the superpowers of healing. And I think that what I guess you're probably coming to realize is that these, the life purpose, the passion, the superpower, the freedom is all tied into your ability to access all of your resources, but also it's all tied into your vibration. And so if you imagine that you just felt in peace and joy all the time, who thinks if that was their reality that you would feel pretty free? Yeah. And do you think then that you would also be more likely to be much more aware of your own, I guess, your own abilities, call them superpowers, extraordinary powers, but that you would be more personally aware, you'd be more tuned in to yourself? Yeah. So we talked in the 5 steps about assessing your energy, and it seems as though everything comes back to what is happening with my energy. And the more I can clear that, energy, the more I get the power. So it's like, for me, purification is power. The more I purify my energy field with the different tools and techniques, and, what I see with my clients is as they put those practices into being every day, then they automatically start to find more passion and align more with their purpose. Having said that, though, there are some things that I think get in the way of our passion and our purpose. And I think one of those is what is or isn't going on within the heart. So, if the heart is clear, if it's open, if it's expanded, you can start to feel much more in tune with your passion and your purpose. And so energetically, that can be discovered by scanning. So we've talked about energy, we've talked about, healing, and it would be fun if someone would like to volunteer themselves, maybe someone that I don't know so well, that maybe I know some of you I've probably done healings on, but so maybe the best person would be someone who feels like they're a bit stuck on their passion, purpose, and we'll come back to the superpower thing afterwards, because there's another little exercise about that, but who feels like they're a bit stuck when it comes to and is there anyone who doesn't know me so well who feels stuck? No one. Oh, I probably can't see anyone. Bekeshri. All right, you. Okay. We have messaged each other a little bit, but we don't know each other very well. So I'm just going to find you. Bekeshri, if you want to unmute yourself, then what I'm going to do. Oh, hello. How are you?
Hi, good, thanks.
Good to see you. So what I'm going to just do is a little bit of an energy assessment so that you can understand how you can start to learn to tune into your own energy and be able to clear things and get clarity on what might be in the way of your purpose, your passion, your superpower. So Bageshwar and we've kind of, probably we've spoken to each other, we've talked a little bit, but I haven't kind of been in touch for quite some time. I don't know when we would have last spoken. It's probably a year or two.
Couple of years at
Couple of
least.
years, isn't it? So we haven't, yeah. So it's nice to connect today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my eyes so that I can just tune in, and I'm going to scan Bageshwari's energy field and her the different parts of her energy field, and then I will share what I'm perceiving, and she can tell me whether that sounds right or it doesn't, whether there's anything new, and we'll just show how, what's going on within the energy is a very core kind of pointer to what might be going on. All right, so let me just tune in to my teachers so that I can use their energy. Make sure my heart's connected so that I'll tell you what I'm doing so that you know, because you can learn to do this too. Some of you can already do it really well. So I'm tuning in and asking my teacher to help me to be able to be a pure channel for this energy assessment and give Bageshwari the best possible, most helpful feedback. So if I scan Bageshwari's energy right now, it feels quite strong generally. Her aura feels quite strong. And then if I just start from the bottom and I scan her base, okay, base chakra is not so good, Bageshwari. There's not as much energy there as what I would hope. And that can easily be fixed, don't worry. But when there's less energy in the base chakra, that means being grounded. So someone who's got less energy there might feel a little bit stressed, a bit disconnected. There could be events happening in family that's causing stress. There could be financial stress. Is anything like that going on? You don't have to
All
give
of that.
details. All of that. Okay. Yep. I was going to say you don't have to give details, but you can just say yes or no. Yep. And you might sometimes feel, even physically, it can impact. You might be feeling confusion. Do you find you get confused?
That's me always. I think most of my life, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate
So
decisions.
yeah, confusion and decisions is very much a byproduct of the base chakra not being strong enough and not being plugged into the earth. So that's just a little example of how adjusting that energy can immediately, if you're starting to look for passion and purpose, but you're not really connected to the ground, and you've got stress in that area of life, then it's pretty hard to try and find purpose and passion. So let me just see what else might be there. I'm just going to scan a little bit of, okay, so, so it feels like you have quite a creative nature, and I'm wondering if you're getting a chance to use that creativeness. Are you aware of your creative nature?
Not since childhood. I work in
Uh,
IT now, so it's all computer
ooh,
and thinking and lots
but-
of brain work.
okay. Is
Yeah.
that, and what was your creativity in childhood?
I used to sing. I used to love
Ah, ooh,
craft and
yeah,
yeah, painting and any kind of
okay,
creative stuff.
yeah. And so when I touched that part of your energy field, the message that I got was there's definitely a superpower in creativity there. I'm wondering if it's your singing. I don't know, but you'll probably know. But that maybe it's not getting used at the moment. So that can be tricky, because if we think about having fearless fun, and we've got this creative thing that we love to do, but we're not having time to do it for whatever reason, that's where the fearlessness comes in. It's like, well, and the determination, those steps that we were talking about. It's like, how can I find the time? What would it be like? Just imagine yourself for a minute, just doing one of those creative pursuits, whichever one. Just, you can close your eyes and just think about doing one of them, whichever one pops into your mind. And then I was going to scan your energy again and see. And if anyone else knows how to scan, you can follow along. So all I'm doing is I'm touching her energy. Okay, so that's now got heaps of energy. So what were you thinking about doing?
Singing. I
Singing,
like to
yeah.
play the harmonium.
Oh my
like
gosh, how
chanting on the
beautiful.
harmonium. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, I've got tingles. Anyone else got tingles? Yeah. So who thinks that singing might be connected with Bhageshwari's superpower? I do. And so this is really cool and kind of unplanned, but often you'll find that your superpower is connected to something that you did as a child and something that you probably did quite easily, and you might not have even thought it was a thing. You might not have even known that it was a gift or a superpower. So let's see what else is going on here. So singing and the harmonium definitely feel, oh my gosh, your whole energy's changed. And let me scan the base chakra again. Yeah, no, it's still not happy. Okay, that needs a bit of, sorry. It can get better, but it just needs a little bit of those resources that we talked about before. Okay, let's just see what else is going on here. Okay. So in the area of, I guess, our, self-worth, self-compassion, that empathy with the self, I would say that your energy at the moment is maybe just a little bit less bouncy than we might like it to be. And that is not surprising, seeing as something that you're quite passionate about is not in your life at the moment. So there's this weird thing that if we get a bit off track with what we love, then the energy field will tell you. And it weirdly affects the sense of self and the self-esteem even. Because there's a part of us that knows we want to be doing something else and we're not doing it. Who's ever had that feeling? That was me when I was a lawyer, and I'm going, what am I doing? I want to help people, but not like this. I want to help them differently. So I definitely know what that's like. All right, let's see what's going on in there. Okay, so yeah. So not surprisingly also, it's almost like there's beautiful energy in the heart. There's beautiful like compassion and love and all of that energy. And at the same time, is almost like, I imagine, almost like tears of sadness. Would that make sense at all?
Yeah, I recently had a reading of healing done, and
Oh,
they talked about what's the word, unexpressed tears from lifetimes, and I was like, oh,
oh,
what?
ooh, I
And
got chills
yeah.
again. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? So there's confirmation for you that the resources that you're finding are good ones, because yeah, it's almost like there's little tears. So in my intuition or my sense is, I mean, you can tune in yourself, because we're all our own best healer. I think everyone needs to um, learn how to do this for yourselves, which you can do. You can learn to scan your own energy. You can learn to tune in and feel it. And I know some of you already know how to do that. And, there's other beautiful modalities that do it as well. I just happen to have been trained in energetic healing, which is, for me, it's the sensitivity of being able to feel energy. So other people do it different ways. I don't really see it so much. I just have like an inner knowing of it when I feel. And so we can all learn to do that, but you can tune in to see what that is. It may not be physical tears. It may also be connected with that losing the creativity. You can tune in to see what would happen if you can experiment, go and spend some time on your harmonium and doing some chanting and see how your heart feels. Yeah. Okay, let's see what's going on in the throat. And so if you're wondering what I'm doing with my hands, it's a way of me just bring so in the center of our hands, palm chakras is the place that's connected to our heart. So obviously our arms are connected to our heart. There's energy pathways down there, like you would sense in acupuncture, if you've seen those charts. And so what happens is I'm activating the capacity of my hands to feel the energy. So that's why I'm moving them around a bit. But it also gives me a bit of a way of measuring what's happening. It's just a way of measuring. So
Thanks for explaining that.
yeah. Um, Yeah, so that's interesting. So it could be, again, you would tune in, but it could be that in your world, communication maybe is not always the way you might want it to be. So whether that means not speaking, whether that means other people speaking or not listening, does any of that sort of resonate with how you're experiencing life at this moment?
I think I can't communicate well. I think I struggle to have the right words. Like I can type
Right.
or write well, but
Yep.
thinking and speaking on the
Speaking.
spot, I really struggle with that and I mess things up. But
Uh,
that's just the nature of
yeah.
work for me. So that's a
Yeah.
constant issue. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so again, all these things can be adjusted. It's likely, we wrote earlier, and again, that could be part of a freedom thing, is the freedom to speak, the freedom to be able to communicate. All these things we can all speculate about where they come from, but I guess the most important thing is that they can start to be shifted just by the awareness, and then when we start to clear the energy through the various modalities and methods, then it can really shift. And then if we look at the vision, so again, I'm just sensitizing my hands to feeling what's going on in Bekeshri's vision. Oh, do you feel like you have a vision? Because I'm not sensing a big activation in that.
Is that like purpose kind of vision?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm so lost.
yeah. Which actually I think for me comes back to the base chakra. It would be
Okay.
pretty unusual. Oh, actually, now I've scanned your base chakra, it's got stronger. The other thing to remember about this energy scanning is it's very in the moment. So
Right.
if we were to do this tomorrow, it's likely some bits would be different, but there will be, when there's significant events going on, generally you'll find there's a correlation, um, until you actually start to shift it. But it's interesting that the base chakra has got a little bit stronger. Yeah, so, and it would make sense that if you're not feeling particularly grounded and you're confused, it's pretty hard to have a vision, right? And
Yeah.
then the last bit then is just the connection to spirit and self. um, it's like that's actually quite strong. I feel like you have quite a deep faith and a connection, and that sometimes what happens is with a bit of stress or things, that connection might not be flowing all the way down into all of the resources.
Right.
So yeah, so thank you.
That's
um
so spot on. Wow.
Good. Okay. Well, um one of my clients, oh, actually, I don't know if she came. I don't think she's here. I just have to share that one of my clients, the whole reason that we're doing this workshop today is because one of my clients, um, who is Mazzy, who I don't think is here, um, she's the one who prompted this whole thing by saying to me, can you do that superpower thing that you do and check my energy field? Can you, no, she said, can you check my energy field? Can you use that superpower that you've got? And then I had to laugh because I thought I'd been doing all these coaching sessions with her and I hadn't scanned her energy field. And I thought, what am I doing? It's the thing that gives the most information. It's the thing that for me is easy, that I just assume everyone can do. And I think that you'll find as we have our little chat, which we're about to do in a moment in pairs, that there are things that you do that you think everyone can do and that they're just easy. I was with my son, and they're our superpowers. So they're your superpowers. They're the things that you can just do, and you probably have spent time on them. You've probably studied them. You've probably given yourself um, training in them as well. But I was with my son recently and we were in a restaurant and there was music playing and we were talking, and then he suddenly stops and he goes, oh, that's such and such. And then he starts telling me about the way that this piece of music is with that. I can't even do it because I'm so not, that is so not my superpower. But then I just said to him, how do you know that? I said, that's your superpower. He could listen to this piece of music and he knew that there was a piece on this album record that belonged, that this particular band had put together on another album with blah, blah. Then he goes to the counter and he starts having that sort of conversation with someone else whose superpower is music. Have you ever seen that happen where people just start on this thing and you go, what are you talking about? So yeah, and some people I know can taste food and they can tell you all the ingredients. Everyone's got things that they can just do naturally. Some people can write really well. Some people can sing really beautifully. There's all sorts of things, but they're often quite innate in us, and they are often connected to when you were a child. And they're often things that you don't even value because you assume everyone else can do them. Is that making sense? And does anyone have a thought about that? Yeah, maybe I do know what my superpower is. I'm just going to have a sip of water. Good. All right. So part of what we thought we would do tonight is to start to uncover this in the time that we have. And I wanted to give you the best opportunity to do that. And it occurred to me that we already said that there are things that are in the way of our freedom, our purpose, our passion. Of course, in a period of an hour or 2 hours, we won't get to the very bottom of every single block or every single part of your life purpose in a detailed plan yet, because that's why we have we spend a lot of time on those sort of things in longer programs and longer sessions. But in order to get the clearest that you can be today, I thought it might be fun to do two things. One is to clear some of what might be in the way of you knowing about your purpose and passion and superpower. Anyone like the idea of that? Doing a bit of clearing of stuff? And the other thing is to add in an exercise, which is an imagination type exercise that will give you a glimpse into your possible pot of superpowers. So if you would like to do that, then it will be a closed eye process. And if for some reason you're not comfortable closing your eyes, you don't have to, but it does help you to go within. I will have my eyes closed because it's easier for me to be tuned in. And we spoke before about vibration. So what we do when we're doing an imagination process and we're doing a healing process is and as a group, because we're all together, you're in that space of a different vibration. So that's the intention with a clearing, is that you shift the vibration, things fall away, and clarity comes. And this is like a tiny little experience or window into that. All good? And then we'll have time to have a little bit of a chat and we'll be finished pretty much on time. All right. So if you're willing to explore that, just gently closing your eyes and just breathing in and breathing out. And just taking a moment to really allow your body to rest comfortably. You might like to make sure that your feet are on the floor. You might want to have your hands resting just so that they're comfortable, so that your shoulders are relaxed. It's best to have the palms open without any sort of connection between the fingers, just having them all open for this particular activity. I know in some meditations we join fingers together in particular ways, but just for today, if you're comfortable to have them open and have the palms facing the ceiling. And so they might be resting on your knees or on your thighs, feet on the floor, legs uncrossed, unless you're sitting on the floor cross-legged, and if that's comfortable, that's okay. And as you gently close your eyes, just breathe in and breathe all the way out. And in this process, I rely on my resources of my spiritual teachers. And you might have your own spiritual teachers or those who you look to for your guidance. You can think about them and allow the appreciation in your heart. And you can breathe in from above, as if you're breathing in beautiful, golden, warm sunlight. And imagine it's coming all the way down through the body now. Just intend that you can open the top of your head and you can breathe in beautiful, golden, warm sunlight. With every breath, it's coming in more and more. And you just know that it's happening in the way that's right for you. You just have an imagination that that's happening. And trust that it's working perfectly for you. And as that beautiful golden sunlight comes in through the mind, just allow it to dissolve any stress, any worries, any ideas that you don't know what your purpose is or what your superpower is. And breathe out through the head, letting go. If you want to, you can repeat it out loud or you can just say it in your head. I think everyone's muted, so we won't necessarily hear each other, but you can just say, I release all thoughts that are in the way of me knowing my purpose and my passion, my superpower. And then you just breathe in and breathe out. And imagine your head can let go of those thoughts. And as you do that, I'm also just using the energy just to pull them out. You may feel some tingling. You may feel some energy movement. Sometimes people feel a little tired and yawn. That's all okay. And you might just want to take a breath in and just letting go. And being aware between the eyebrows, imagine you can breathe in the top of your head and breathe out through the eyebrows. And you can just let go. And as you're breathing in that beautiful golden sunlight, imagine it's the vibration of joy and peace. And it's coming in from the highest place in the universe, from this great central sun, the beautiful sun. It sends warmth to our planet so that we stay alive, our life force. And breathe it in and breathe it out through the throat. And as you breathe out, imagine you can let go of any blocks to speaking, any blocks to organizing, any blocks to communicating to yourself your passion and your purpose. And then as you breathe in that beautiful sunlight a little bit further, breathe it in and breathe out through the heart. And imagine that sunlight can dissolve and let go of any stress from the heart, any uncertainties, any emotions that are in the way of the heart telling you your purpose and your superpower. And then breathing that sunlight in a little bit more and breathing out through the area of the navel and the stomach, letting go. Breathing in again and breathing out through the lower abdominal area around the pubic bone and the base of the spine. And then breathing in again and down through the legs, down into the feet, into the floor. And again, imagine that beautiful light coming in from above, down through the body and into the earth. And now just take your attention to your heart. And remember that the heart is a beautiful electromagnetic field. It's also the physical organ that keeps our life force going so that we stay alive. And you can increase that life force simply by being grateful and appreciating. Take a moment now to appreciate yourself for coming along to this class and appreciate everything that you're grateful for in your life. Just repeat it to yourself. You might be grateful that you have somewhere to live, that you have a car, that you have friends and family, that you have food, anything at all that you're grateful for, that you're able to speak, that you're able to breathe. And continue to repeat to yourself inside your mind and your heart all the things that you're grateful for. And now as you focus on your heart area with your imagination in the way that is right for you, imagine that you're walking up some stairs. You're going up, 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 higher, 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 higher. When you get really high, you're looking down on yourself. And as you look up, you realize you can go one step higher. And you're sitting very comfortably in that higher place. And as you sit there, Ask yourself, what is your superpower? And just see what information pops into your awareness. You might want to ask yourself, what would someone else say was your superpower? Someone who you have care and respect for, someone who knows you well and who cares about you and is kind and very supportive of you. If you were to ask them, what is my superpower? What am I naturally good at that I don't maybe value? What would they say? And then just gently letting go and coming back down those stairs now, back down into your heart. Feeling the area of your heart, breathing in and breathing out all over. And breathing all the way down through your legs and into your feet. And feel yourself connecting with the earth as if you're a tree, putting your roots down into the earth. And starting to wriggle your fingers and toes, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Very good. Good. How are you feeling, everybody? So good, says Mel. Good. Light, says Deb. Relaxed. Great. Peaceful. Beautiful. I want to scan Bageshwari's base chakra to see if it's changed. Oh no, still something else going on there. We didn't quite get to it, sorry. I was hopeful that we were going to fix it, but we haven't. That's funny. Margie's calm, that's good. Did anyone get any sort of feeling or idea about what might be something that they're good at that they maybe don't value, that we might call is a bit of a superpower? If you did and you're happy to share it, you can put it in the chat. Just being peaceful, nice. It's not what you do, but how you do it. That's lovely. Yeah. So that comes back to the vibration, doesn't it, Shuma? Yeah. Music and caring for others, Bageshri. That's beautiful. Inner strength, Cindy. That's amazing. Good on you. And bearing in mind, this was a very quick little kind of experience, so I was planning, as you can imagine, I was planning like another 10 things to do. We don't have time. But one of the other ways that you can explore or get hints about your superpower, or, yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Rebecca. Lovely to see you. Glad you could come. One of the things that you can do to get a bit more info about your, what you're good at, is to start to ask yourself, what are the things that you love to talk about and spend time on, and where do you spend a lot of your money? Like, does it go on clothes or food or travel or education? Or, you can get clues in your life as to what you value, and what you value is usually very closely aligned with what are your inner strengths and what we might call your superpowers. Because, for me, if I look at my where my money goes, it's travel, but it's not just any travel. It's travel to my spiritual teacher. It's books about spirituality. It's education about spirituality or business, or things that I think are going to help me to help others on my mission and my passion. I haven't bought a new car for a very long time. I don't have any plans to buy a new one. Eventually, I'll probably need to. But do you know what I'm saying? Whereas I know some people would spend money and time and resources on other things. So that will give you a good clue. If you look at what's around your house, like if you come to my house, you'll see altars, you'll see flowers, you'll see pictures of my spiritual teacher, you'll see more than one. Friends and family is another big thing for me. So if anyone else has got, can just know off the top of your head what you tend to put a lot of focus on and what you value, that will be something. So then it makes sense, of course, that my learning has been around healing and spirituality and meditation and all those sorts of things. And for other people, it might be something totally different. Like I say, for my son, music, he spends all his money on records because that's his passion and what he loves. So is that making sense, that those things are connected? So I just wanted to make that connection for you, that that was something we were going to go into a bit more deeply, but we're kind of starting to run out of time a little bit. What else did I want to tell you? Yeah, and as I say, it's also lined up with the skills that you've probably acquired and the things that you've studied. Unless it's just very, very far away from your consciousness. Sometimes as professionals, we study and train in things because we're good at it. And like I did when I was a lawyer, like I think I was, as far as I know, I was a pretty good lawyer, but it wasn't my passion. So I developed skills. So that can be a little bit of a distraction in a way. But you'll find that your life will demonstrate what you value, because my life still, even when I was a lawyer, even in my first year of being a lawyer, where did I go when I left work on a Wednesday? I went to the local yoga ashram and did yoga and meditation. And where did I go on holidays? I went to spiritual places. So my life still demonstrated that. That's how I found my first spiritual teacher and started studying healing, because I wanted to do all of that more deeply. Very, very good. So, as you can see from what we've explored, there is a process and a path to all of this, and there's a lot more to all of it than, of course, we can do within this time. And you may have questions or want to talk about this more individually with me. There's always time to do that. What I thought I'd do, which would be the easiest, is I have all your email addresses, and it can be a bit tricky to put it in the chat. I was going to just put in the chat that if you would like to talk to me more about this, if I was properly organized, I would have the link in the chat box, but it's not my superpower. Sorry. I can scan your energy, but I can't copy a link into the chat. Haha. I think that's pretty funny. What I'm going to do is email you a link where, if you would like to chat more you know, if you'd like to go more deeply into, now I'm distracting myself because I'm trying to find the link for the thing to put in the chat. Oh, there it is. I did do it. I did organize. I'm more organized than I thought. I can do it. I can do it. I think I've gone a bit, I've got Zoom fatigue. Okay. There we go. Would help if so there is a link. You can just book a time to have a chat to me if you'd like to talk more about anything that we've covered tonight. If you'd like to know more about your personal path, your steps, and getting more in touch with where you would like to be along that, you know, along as people shared at the beginning, along your path to your purpose, your passion. And if you'd like, you know, maybe in that time, if you'd like to know more about what might be in the way within your energy field, as we were doing with Bageshri. So anything like that, you all have an email from me anyway, because I emailed you all. You will have that link and I'll send it out to you. So I'm always happy to chat more and, you know, look at what resources I might be able to help you with to move along the pathway, and answer any questions that we might not have got to tonight, because I know that, you know, we've kind of got pretty much to the end of our time. If anyone has a burning question, oh, good, Jacob, that's lovely. If anyone has a burning question, then you can unmute. No one has a burning question. Everyone's probably ready for bed because it's 10 to 9, except for Svaha, who'll be ready to start her day. Great, Julie, thank you. That's lovely. And yep, happy to chat more, happy for feedback, questions, ideas. Lovely to see you all. So I think we will finish up just a little bit early. I think that we have pretty much gone through the steps. You've got some insights about your passion and purpose. You'll remember we went through the 5 steps to freedom and we talked about what those were. We talked about how our vibration and the inner world is actually the key to everything. It's the key to you know, finding your passion, your purpose, to getting rid of stress, to being on track, to feeling peaceful. Everything's about the inner life, and there's lots of steps and resources that, you know, can help you to do that. We had a meditation and cleared some stuff. We had a bit of a demonstration of what might be in the way of superpowers. So hopefully all of that has been helpful. And special superpower moment with Amma. Yes, good, 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 good. That's lovely. Great, Jodie. It was good to see you. Thank you so much all for coming. It's so lovely to see you all and have some fun together. We didn't even talk about, oh my gosh, we didn't talk about the most important pathway, which is laughing. Oh my gosh, ha ha ha. It's a key. But all these things are inside. All these things are inside how we shift our vibration. So as I think most of you know that I do 2 laughing classes a week. Jacob certainly does. He's a regular, yay. And I think we should finish with, I think probably the most important thing that I've learned that will give you the absolute answer to everything. Sorry, I'm being silly now. I've got into the silly phase. That is gibberish, nonsense language, and it's a great way to relax the mind if you can't sleep. So that's my final tip for the night. If you need any more resources, we'll have to have a separate chat. So have a beautiful night, and always laughing with you, Chamundai. Anik, yep, that's good. Always laughing. It's the fast path in many ways. So thank you all for coming. It was so beautiful to share this time with you. Oh, Jodie's got, oh, look, she's got a beautiful dog there. That's how you have fun, right, Jodie? Oh my gosh, that's too cute. All right, everyone. I shall say goodbye for now. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.